Okay, so we had a big rain last night, flash flood warnings, good test of our swales and berms. So here's the Young's house. This hill here collects a lot of runoff that comes down to that area right there at the top of this swale and makes its way down into our property. So this is essentially the new swale that Deborah's engineer came up with, and it seems to be working very well. A little bit of water is making it through this barrier here and making it down our smaller swale, which is actually the future location of our Pachysandra bed. But it is the lowest spot between our two properties, so any residual water is going to make it into that swale and just travel down into the back of to the very back of our property, down into the wetland area. There is Deborah's house. It is about 6:30 in the morning on June 1st. It's going to be raining for the next 2 days, so that'll be another good test. There's just a little bit of lull in the rain for the next hour or two. So I think we can improve this, and I'll consult my engineer, but I think we can improve this by taking away this sod, which the sod is so thick. I folded it back so that I'd get better drainage, but the sod is so thick it's kind of impeding some of that water flow, which is why I think it's making it over this little barrier and into our smaller swale. Now that was the purpose of our small swale, but the goal is to collect 100% of this water from this hill here of the Youngs and get it down into this new swale. The other part of the problem is that we just did this, so it's not the soil here. I'll just demonstrate. Is not quite stabilized yet. I can step down into it. It's just solid mud. So once that dries out and stabilizes and hardens, then it's going to be a more formidable barrier. Let me just show you our big swale. So all of this water again is making its way down from the Youngs across our garden and into the yard, and making its way down where the eventual big swale is. The infrastructure of the big swale is there, so it's actually working now, but it's going to work better once we finish grade it and sod it. What else? Here's our second swale that we created after our meeting with Deborah's engineer, which is also working as it should. It's collecting additional water from the Youngs, primarily from a little further up the hill, but the majority of the water comes from this area right here. It comes down the back steep hill of the Youngs and makes it right to this point. Also collects on the side of our garden there, because we're talking about 250 feet of yard on our side, and pretty much the same on Mr. Young's side. But that water is making its way into a swale that you can barely see, but is very functional, and that eventually will make it into the big swale in our backyard. So I guess in conclusion, this was a good test. I think we can improve on the swale coming across, which again I'll consult my engineer, but I think he'll probably tell me to take away the sod and put in like 2-inch crushed stone, because that has a lot of uh, that allows water to travel quickly through it, and also stabilizes that soil so we won't have any bits of erosion in that area. And we'll see how the next two days of rain go. But we've had the bulk of our rain last night. Again, we had flash flood warnings, and it was a good test. And I think we passed that test. But again, I think we can improve a little bit upon this, and we will. Over and out.